Thanks to Rocket Money for sponsoring this video. More about them later. The 2016 White Sox were a disaster both on the field and, more notably, off the field. Given this was their fourth straight sub-500 season, the front office decided to begin a rebuild. In the span of 48 hours, they traded two of their best players. The White Sox received plenty of top 100 prospects in return, but the most promising player was MLB.com's #1 prospect, Yoán Moncada. About 3 years later, Moncada signed the largest extension in franchise history. However, following this extension, inconsistency and injuries have plagued his career. It's unfortunate because not too long ago, not only was he a #1 prospect, he was supposed to be baseball's next Cuban star.
Hicks back, this one is leaving and we are tied!
It hasn't happened at Fenway Park for 95 years.
In 2013, the Red Sox won their third championship since 2004. The ability to remain in serious championship contention for multiple years is a near impossible task without the development of homegrown elite players. So it's no surprise to find out the Red Sox began scouting Moncada 5 years before he signed with them, which isn't uncommon for amateur scouting. Ethan Salas, the #1 ranked prospect of the most recent international signing period, had been a mainstay in scouting circles since he was 12 years old. Yeah, I know, it's weird. Anyway, the main difference between these two phenoms, other than their ages, was the signing bonuses. In 2015, teams had the ability to spend more than their assigned bonus pool, but the consequences of doing so were spending restrictions in future signing periods. However, all this did was incentivize teams to spend as much as possible in a singular window. So, Moncada's record $31.5 million bonus actually cost the Red Sox $63 million. Now, the Red Sox were no strangers to handing out record-breaking contracts to international free agents. Examples include Daisuke Matsuzaka in 2006 and Rusney Castillo in 2014. But these two were not amateur free agents. So why were the Red Sox so comfortable breaking the bank for a 19-year-old prospect? About 3 months before signing, Moncada was living in Guatemala, preparing for an upcoming showcase in front of scouts from all 30 MLB teams. He had spent 6 months in the country to establish residency following his legal departure from Cuba. He always knew of the unimaginable defection stories featuring guys like Yasiel Puig and Jose Fernandez, which was why Moncada sought legal departure. Still, he was unbelievably scared, as not only had he left behind the only environment he'd ever known, his safety wasn't guaranteed. Before the scouting showcase, Moncada's whereabouts were made public for the first time since leaving Cuba. Upon the release of this information, his livelihood was in jeopardy. On more than one occasion, including the date of the showcase, cars chased Moncada in attempts to kidnap him. For as long as he could remember, constant fear had plagued the mind of Moncada in the build-up to this potentially life-changing showcase. Now, only a few hours of batting practice and drills stood in the way of an entirely new life. Fortunately, the showcase was an absolute success.
2-1. Yoán drills it. Deep right field. Bring him home. We're tied at 6.
Obviously, these highlights weren't from the showcase, but I like to imagine it looked something like this. All 30 teams saw a 19-year-old with the build of an NFL linebacker displaying elite power and speed. Immediately after signing, Moncada was named a top 10 prospect, and he joined #1 prospect Byron Buxton as the only prospects with at least 4 tools ranked 60 or higher on the 20/80 scale. Top prospects are compared to all sorts of players, but in Moncada's case, the name you saw the most was Robinson Cano, but with more speed. Throughout his career, Cano crushed baseballs at Fenway Park, so it was only right for the Red Sox to find their own version of Cano. However, there was a major difference between these two. Strikeouts, something Moncada struggled with in his 2 minor league seasons in the Red Sox organization. Nonetheless, he still crushed minor league pitching, which led to his big league debut in late 2016 at age 21. At this point, he was a consensus top 5 prospect with the potential to hit 270 and put up 20-40 seasons. But there were questions regarding how he would fit in the team's plans. Moncada was a second baseman, a position occupied by Dustin Pedroia, and while scouts felt Moncada was a better fit at third base prospect Rafael Devers was close to debuting. Fortunately, the trade with the White Sox gave Moncada a fresh start to try out for both positions. But problems soon arose. In 2017 and 2018, Moncada had his fair share of struggles at second base, especially in 2018, where he was one of only 6 players with 20 errors. Also, offensively, he wasn't much better. In his first full big league season in 2018, he struck out more than anyone in the league. Back at the Guatemalan showcase, scouts said for Moncada to fully realize his potential, he needed to hit the breaking ball. Obviously, easier said than done, especially when the pressure of being a former top prospect leads to intensive scrutiny. But then, in 2019, everything changed.
Moncada drills this ball right field. The only question is which deck. It's a 2-run homer. Yoán drives it left center field. Buxton back at the warning track on the wall. It is gone! Jones is back at the warning track. This is into the shrubbery. Oh my gosh, that thing was demolished.
Moncada's long-awaited breakout campaign was more than anyone could have asked for. He hit over 300, hit 25 home runs, had a 140 OPS plus, and decreased his strikeout rate. Plus, not only did the shift over to third base turn him into an elite defender, it allowed him to make a bit of history. Since 1980, only 6 third basemen have produced a season with a 300 average and 140 OPS plus at the age of 24 or younger. This is some elite company. So when Moncada agreed to a 5-year extension worth $70 million, it was seen as a steal for the White Sox. On the other hand, there's potential risks in offering big money contracts to players without years of consistent production. And unfortunately, Moncada's contract has turned into one of the many questionable financial decisions that has ruined Chicago's rebuild. Maybe the White Sox just need some help with money management. Perhaps they could use Rocket Money, the sponsor of today's video. As someone who's actively seeking to better my financial future, Rocket Money is the perfect platform for someone like me. This all-in-one finance platform gathers all your accounts, bills, subscriptions, and investments into one place. This way, you're able to set budgets to control short and long-term spending. Another benefit of being able to see all your finances in one place is Rocket Money gives you a clear picture of your current net worth and its trajectory. Plus, you can monitor your credit score and set up a smart savings account where you can deposit and withdraw funds at any time. But where Rocket Money really shines is the ability to cancel unwanted subscriptions. With just one tap, you can cancel subscriptions you may not even remember you're still paying. For all of these reasons, Rocket Money is a fantastic money management tool, and 3.4 million people agree. So, to download Rocket Money and unlock even more features with Premium, head over to rocketmoney.com/SportStorm or click the link in the description. Following 2019, Moncada's career has been plagued by injuries and inconsistency. In particular, 2022 featured career lows offensively and only 104 games played due to injury. Unfortunately, 2023 hasn't been much better as Moncada missed half the season with back injuries. However, there may be some upside for the future. StatCast numbers between 2019, 2021, and 2023 show a clear decline. But there is one stat where Moncada has continued to excel: sweet spot percentage, which is a batted ball event with a launch angle ranging from 8 to 32 degrees, the optimal launch angle range for success. Interestingly, when it comes to stats in the sweet spot range, 2019 and 2023 are by far his best performing years. So what's so different about his 2019 season? Well, I believe it stems from how he approaches at-bats. Heading into 2019, Moncada was coming off a year with one of the league's worst strikeout rates. So he and his coaches came up with a plan: swing more. Wait, what? Well, back in 2018, many of Moncada's strikeouts were on called strikes, and by many of these strikeouts, I'm talking about a historic amount. He accumulated 85 non-swinging strikeouts, the most in a season through the entirety of the StatCast era. Pitchers here are just better and they execute pitches on the edges. It's just a matter of being more aggressive with the pitches. A quote from Moncada in July 2018. The combination of chasing breaking balls and not defending pitches on the edge of the zone turned him into a liability in 2-strike counts. But the good news was, on non-2-strike counts, he was one of the league's best hitters. So after some work with the coaching staff, Moncada began to trust his ability to hit those borderline pitches, which led to a drastic increase in swings and ultimately an incredible breakout season. Now, it's worth noting Moncada's 2019 BABIP, or batting average on balls in play, was incredibly high. Among the 10,000 plus seasons with at least 500 plate appearances, Moncada's 2019 BABIP ranks 31st all time. While maintaining a 400 BABIP is absurd, Moncada has the tools to maintain an above-average BABIP because of his hard hit rate, sweet spot rate, and speed. Hence why he currently has a career BABIP over 340. So while some regression was expected following 2019, the White Sox were banking on Moncada hitting barreled line drives for years to come. Unfortunately, the constant injuries have affected his ability to replicate his prior success. Still, in 2021, Moncada's most recent full season, he produced an overall great year, but much of it was due to a change in approach, resulting in less swings but more walks. This year, Moncada is back to his 2019 approach with less walks than ever, but he's not hitting the ball nearly as hard, resulting in fewer barrels, the best batted ball classification you can get. So, to simplify, 2019 featured an aggressive approach with a low number of walks, but an elite hard hit rate. 2021 featured a less aggressive approach with a high number of walks, but only an average hard hit rate. 2023 has featured the return of the aggressive approach, but with a low number of walks and only an average hard hit rate. Now, with all of this being said, I wouldn't count out Moncada so easily. Following a rigorous offseason with emphasis on body recovery and readiness, Moncada had his eyes set on the World Baseball Classic and a full 2023 season. He played well in the tournament, but his 2 back injuries derailed his entire year. Even when he returned, he tried to compensate for the pain he felt when he swung, resulting in bad mechanical habits. Training your mind and body to make these split-second decisions demands consistent reps, which he hasn't had this year. Although, since August 8th, Moncada has been a great hitter, and maybe it's a precursor for what he can accomplish in a full season. Every season has its own sets of struggles and successes, but health is a constant yearly theme for Moncada. Truthfully, because of his natural talent and work ethic, if he can stay healthy, I believe a comeback season is possible. But whether that actually happens remains to be seen. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, and subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks for watching.